सुन लो सुनाए कहानी एक किरदार की ही जुबानी, उलझी सुलझी है ये हर घड़ी। पल है कुछ से रुमानी, पल है कुछ से दीवानी, बहका बहका सा है हर कोई। कैसे फिर बतलाए क्या है ये फुलझड़ी, कैसे फिर सुलझाए उलझी हुई हर कड़ी। तो आओ फिर सुन लो यहाँ the story of a PhD, philosophical drama, 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 a PhD. चली रे जुनू को लिए, कतरा कतरा लम्हों को दिए, पिंजड़े से उड़ा दिल का शिकरा, खुदी से मैंने इश्क किया रे। जिया जिया रे जिया रे जिया जिया रे जिया रे जिया जिया रे जिया रे जिया हो, जिया रे जिया रे जिया जिया रे जिया रे जिया जिया रे जिया रे जिया हो। Hello everyone, this is Sukanya and I am here with another brand new episode of PhD, the philosophical drama. Thank you all for joining today. So today we are going to talk about something very important, that is work-life balance. So as researchers and as PhD students, we are very passionate about our work, and in the process of it, we do keep our work as a priority and we give it a lot of importance, and in the process of it, we kind of tend to lose a sense of our own happiness. We slowly tend to forget living one day at a time. So we give all the priority to our work and start forgetting about our own happiness and our own priorities. And this is something that's not good for in the long run. So today, the reason why I started talking about this is the guest, the person who's going to join us today. He's actually my senior from IISER Pune, and he's one of the very few people that I've seen strike this balance very, very precisely. So he actually finished his PhD from IISER Pune, and worked both in the physics and the chemistry department. His field was material science, and his work mainly focused on lithium-ion batteries. And first of all, apart from the fact that he's a brilliant scientist, he is one of the very few people who finished his PhD spot on time, and he followed a different path where he is now working as a research scientist in RISE, which is basically a Research Institute for Sustainable Energy in Kolkata. So and apart from that, he's a huge fitness enthusiast and big foodie, and he's somebody that I've seen maintain this work-life balance, and he has given importance to his work. As you can see that because he has finished his PhD so like in precise tenure, and at the same time he has also been very fit and very happy in his personal life. So without much ado, I would like to call Kingshuk. So I'm going to I think you have already asked me to join, so thank you so much for taking your time off your busy schedule and joining us in our show and sharing your story today.
Thank you very much, Shukanya, to you also for inviting me. I mean, I'm really feeling honored and really happy to be in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that you have a very interesting story to tell us. But I want to start off with my first question is, so when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So so my I mean my wish of being something or somebody or someone I used to change very constant and very frequently.
Yeah,
Primarily because there is no doctor in my family, so my father always pushed me to study biology and keep the joint entrance examination and to be a doctor, but somehow that does not click. Then at some point of time, I really love to travel a lot. So at some point of time, I thought of leaving everything and be a traveler. Huh. But eventually life takes you to somewhere. I mean, completely unexpected. So I have never ever expected that I could finish this. I could start studying basic sciences and do your bachelor's and master's and finish your PhD. I used to think people who does this 10 years long journey. It is, I mean, completely huge, and a lot of paths to travel. So I never imagined to finish my PhD or to be a like so-called doctor or something. But but as you see, I mean, life takes you to somewhere
yeah.
completely unexpected. Yeah.
So how did you then land up becoming
See,
a PhD
the
student?
thing is, so after finishing my 12th, actually after finishing my 10th board exam, so I was never ever inclined to biology. I was always inclined to more towards computer science or statistics or like this. But my father always, always he insisted me to study biology, because he always said that you have to be a doctor. There's no doctor in our family and all. But somehow I wrote the joint entrance examination, but somehow a very slight margin I missed that. So he said, no, you did this, so you prepare for one more year, then you will absolutely, I mean, you will do good. I told him that no, I will not waste any year. So I can join a good college or university with physics or chemistry. So then he said, no, you study chemistry. Chemistry has a lot of opportunities, a lot of paths will be open.
Yeah.
Then on that note, I started studying chemistry. Then I thought that okay, somehow I'll finish my masters or something. Then I will do MBA or something. Then I'll get a job and be happy. Then a very interesting thing happened actually. So after finishing my BSc, somehow I got into this ICER business. I seriously, Shukurna, I was not aware of ICER. So from this jam rank I applied to ICER, and suddenly I got a call from ICER Pune, an interview. I came here, gave the interview, and somehow it clicked. Then I started
Right.
doing all this. And as you know, there's no exit option. So once you are joined, you have to finish your PhD.
So this was completely unplanned, as I
The
understand, right?
PhD for me
Like,
is completely unplanned. Yeah. So I have never planned of doing PhD even after my BSc. There was no plan.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, I know, being a integrated PhD student myself, I guess it's a bit too early to decide everything and be sure about what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
still, like, so how did you end up in the field that you actually, the material science field,
Yeah.
like,
That has
even
also a
after
very
there are
funny
so many
story to it.
different options?
That also has a very
Yeah.
funny story to it. See, ICER always comes up with like pretty I mean bad kind of rule that so when we finished our second semester of of our masters, then some suddenly they started a new rule that okay, so no two PhD students from a same batch can join a same faculty for PhD. So
Okay.
they made a capping rule. So per lab, only 2 IPH students from any batch, and also no 2 students from a same batch can join for a PhD on the same lab. Then fine. So I never knew this much. So I started uh, doing a project with my current supervisor, Professor Satish Ogle. And once I finished that, once I was done with my MS project, suddenly they started this rule, and no, you cannot join. So he is a faculty from physics, you cannot join. I said, so then what is the point of doing IPhD? So you have told us to finish our masters, and we did that. You have told to do that, and this now you are saying that you cannot join a faculty of your choice. That is completely insane, right? So then I told my boss, no, I want to work with you because I love your work. I love working with you. And then he somehow everything. And also, I was the first student, PhD, IPhD, anything. I was the first student who joined inter-department.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I was the
Yeah.
first inter-department PhD student of ICER, having like, so they made, so, and also I was the first student of ICER who joined with this guide co-guide business. So no students before me had 2 supervisors. So then
Right, right.
they made a new rule that okay, you join him, but you please take a chemistry supervisor, because ultimately or eventually your PhD will be in chemistry. So you have to have a PhD, chemistry guide, and then you can join a physics faculty there. That will not be a problem.
Okay.
So with all this,
So being,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so being a like the first interdisciplinary student that way as a PhD student, when do you a bit apprehensive or like
Sorry,
doubtful
sorry,
about
sorry,
whether
sorry.
it will work
I
or
did not
not?
get your question.
Were
What?
you a bit being the first of your time, the student who is in both the departments,
Mm-hmm.
were you apprehensive or a bit doubtful about it, and how did you deal with that? Like, because it was something that was new. So,
See, I mean, for me, it was like very normal because I was working with, so the process was kind of hectic. The entire process, so my supervisor supported me a lot. I mean, I have no problem in saying this in front of anyone. In staying in India, I mean, especially doing PhD in India, everybody complains about the guide or the supervisor. Almost everybody. But I have no complaint against him. Absolutely no complaint. He supported me all throughout my PhD. He supported, like, for every little time he supported me, and then he was the man who just took me to the uh, previous director, and he said, no, I want to take this guy. Whatever changes you have to make, you please make it. I don't know about this, so but I will take him by whatever way possible. I'll take him. So this process was hectic, but beforehand also I was working with him. After PhD also, I mean, on pen and paper, my guide was also from chemistry, but I always start worked from here, actually from this lab. So I mean, nothing really changed a lot. I mean, so it was like a process of doing master's project, and then doing starting PhD, then training some students, training some juniors, and like it 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 really went with the flow. So I mean, I really haven't done anything much. Huh. So everything went with the flow.
so that's a big support to have your
Yeah,
supervisor have this
completely,
kind of this.
completely,
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm like, I'm very happy and completely blessed to have a guide like him.
yeah. Okay. So, like now, slowly shifting gears, that you are now that you're a huge fitness enthusiast, and I think this is something that you discovered during your PhD, like uh, your passion for fitness and everything. So, like, how did you like discover this?
The fa- the passion for fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that these stories also, man. Oh my God. So I back in 2017, I went to UK for the first time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I was in Edinburgh for like 5 months almost.
Hmm.
Then first for few initial days I used to cook, and then I used to have this normal Indian food. But afterwards, what happened is, who will cook every day? I mean, that is like a pain in the ass, right? So who will cook every day? So then what I used to do is, I used to go to any supermarket. So then or a good restaurant, then buy a good burger. And good burger defines like when you have 2 layers of cheese. Huh. The meat used to
Hmm.
vary, but the cheese remained constant. When you have 2 layers,
Correct.
and a big bottle of Corona was very cheap there. So every day, almost every day, either fish and chips or like two cheese wala burger and then one bottle of Corona. Once I came back to Pune, I gained 14.5 kilogram, and everybody started like, I mean, bhai ye kya chal raha hai, kya hai? So if everybody was looking at my face, and my face was like this. And then I thought that no, you have to do something. I mean, this cannot go on. Then I
Correct.
started all this, and I mean, with this journey, I learned a lot, and then it just kind of became a passion, because now I
Right.
cannot think of going back there all over again. So and I gain weight. I mean, really quickly. If I leave like for 2 3 months, I can gain like 6 to 7 kilogram. So I cannot think of like going there and starting everything all over again. I cannot do that. So then it started
So
becoming a passion and everything. Yeah.
yeah, so that now that you had this passion for fitness, how did it affect your work? Like, did it have an impact on how you would look at your day-to-day experiments, or like your
Yeah, my
PhD
supervisor
thing? Like,
always
how did
thought,
it impact?
no, my supervisor always thought this, that you're doing this, so this will affect your work. But
Yeah, exactly.
I never
So
thought of this, because see, Shukunna, this is very easy. I mean, giving 1 hour 15 minutes from, I mean, per day to your fitness does not affect anything. Leave your PhD, does not affect anything. Eh, I mean, I mean, we
right.
waste a lot of time, right? We
Yeah.
waste a lot of time doing this, that, huh? Roaming here and there. So giving like 1 hour, 1.5 hour to your fitness, I mean, I don't think that that affects anything. So, but my supervisor always thought so, and that all your focus will be off from your PhD, and you're going to doing this, and thinking about your diet all throughout the day. This will affect this and that, but somehow, I mean, for me, it did not affect much. That is what I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, so now that you said that it doesn't really affect that much, but still, like, the way I have always seen you like very balanced in terms of your work and in terms of doing other things like cooking or traveling and other things. So how did you like strike this balance? Like, were there times when you would weigh one over the other, and how did you decide? Like, how exactly did you? What is the secret behind this?
See, uh, see, in this regard or this respect, so I was like a bit, I mean, I was kind of blessed also, because my PhD so actually my topic of PhD does not need a lot of hard work. This is what I can say.
Okay.
If you plan your work intelligently, so you can do, I mean, see, I always believed in one thing. So you can do 15 different things at the same time. You can do this, that, you can. So I have seen people lab who's come to the lab around 8:39 in the morning and they leave around 12:31 in the night. So if you are working 16 hours every day, your PhD should be finished in 1 year. This is what I feel. Because see, if you are doing 15 different things at one time and you are thinking that, okay, one project will click, then it is fine. So you have, for one project to click, you have to do work for 15 projects. So you have to be in the lab all throughout the day. But I always did that. All my lab mates know this. I always read this. So one project is done. I used to read for 1.5 to 2 months. I did not do anything. I just read once, and then I designed my projects by myself, and I told my supervisor, okay, so these two are the projects now, which I want to focus on. Then eventually, with intuition, with some modification, with some this and that, at least either of the projects used to be used to click. And it's fine. I always thought of like thought of, so you have to, how can you get maximum output by giving minimum input? Literally, I'm telling you, I have seen people like 10-15 different projects at the same time. They have like plans. So this half an hour, this project. Afterwards, coffee. Then this project. Then that project. So, 15 different projects. Say like one project of focus करना is very difficult, right? So you have to like focus on every different thing and all this. So my supervisor always insisted me to come to lab at 9:30. I never came, and last he became frustrated and he said me, so Kinshuk, you please tell me the reason. So you cannot wake up or you don't listen to my words. What is the main reason? Then I said, no, sir. Actually, I don't have any guts to not to listen to your words, so I cannot wake up actually because I sleep around 2:30 or 3 in the night. So waking up before 9:30 is very difficult for me. And so
Right.
I wake up 9:45 and I come to the lab at 10:15. So this half an hour you have to give me to do everything, and then at 10:15, 10:30 I used to be in the lab, and my side was like, again you could not come to 9 could not come at 9:30. So this used to be our like regular thing. Yeah.
No, it's really important that like you keep your balance and keep your focus, like, because it shows like despite being this mischievous and all of this, you have succeeded to finish, do a sufficient amount of work and do a great PhD. So it's not impossible. It's something that I think we all should learn from your story. That
No, see,
it's
Suparna,
really
this is
like
not like
awesome.
this is not about land. Yeah. So see, some people, for some people, to finish at least one or two projects or so, it requires a lot of effort. Like if you take an example for like organic synthesis guy, so he has to or she has to be in the lab all throughout the day, because one reaction, one workup, one column, one to get one final product, they need to be in the lab always. So, in this regard, I was kind of blessed that my work was mostly material science based to more towards analysis based. So once you have your data,
Right.
you have to spend more time in analyzing them, not to like be in the lab and doing that. So
Yeah.
when I was in home, I used to analyze the data. I used to like plot the graphs and start. I mean, I was trying to find out what to see or what not to see. This. So see, it depends, Shubhan. Whatever you say for those guys, they have to be in the lab all throughout. There is no other
I
option.
think I think in this regard it's very important that you self-assess and judge what makes you happy and how much of it can you balance. And I
Completely,
think that is something that
completely.
like we all need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that so all of us have this like set protocol where most of us like after our PhD go and go for postdoc.
Hmm.
So how did you decide to do a job, and like how did you land up with the job? Please share the story, and also how difficult. Like, was it difficult to like switch and everything? So tell us about it.
So this was also very unexpected, actually, extremely unexpected. So I was about to go for a postdoc. So there's one guy from Rice University in Texas. So he visited IISER Pune uh, uh, last 2019 December. I uh, I had a long chat with him. So I showed him my work and everything, and he was very, very happy. And I mean, that point itself, he offered me a postdoc. So, so by the end of December or January, I was pretty sure that okay, I am going postdoc in Rice. And also, there's another guy in University of Saint Andrews, UK. I was also had a chat with him, and then I did not pursue that later. But this I was like pretty sure that okay, I can go to this place. But afterwards, what happened? So I mean, everything was fixed. Then I told him that okay. So his name is Professor Aditya Mohita, and I told him, Aditya, see one thing, I need like 4 to 5 months more to finish my PhD. Once I finish my PhD, I can definitely go. Then what happened? So by that around that time from last year December to this February, there's one guy who's Dr. Purnendu Chatterjee. So he was the first Bengali billionaire. Yeah, so if you find TCG, which is the Chatterjee Group in Kolkata, you can find a lot of things. So there's Haldia Petrochemicals, there's TCG Life Sciences, which is like Chem Biotech, TCG Digital Solutions. They have IT, Polymer, and everything. So they started to come up with first not for profit, when I mean a research institute venture. I mean completely. So every company they own is like profit making companies. Huh. This is the first time where when they wanted to invest in like a not for profit research institute. And he is also a UC Berkeley PhD and the physics chair of UC Berkeley, Professor Ramamurthy Ramesh, and PC is a very good friend. And somehow PC and Ramesh and my supervisor was a colleague back in like 90s, late 90s. So then they approached my supervisor that okay, so we are trying to build something like this with a huge funding and everything. So will you be our director? Then he said, okay, fine, that's not a problem, but then I cannot shift from IISER Pune at this age. So I can, if I can have both affiliation, then I can join as a director, no problem. Then he joined, and then the whole campus was being built in Salt Lake, Kolkata, and he said he approached me, my supervisor, that see, this is also a very good option. So if you go for a postdoc, that's always fine. But if you join here and build the institute from the very scratch, and then start
Right.
the very scratch. I mean, so they have only given us like 12,000 square feet of space. We have to do the interior, we have to do everything, starting from civil work to mechanical to electrical to AC, everything you have to fix it. Then you have to buy the equipment, place in, you have to you hire PAs, RAs, PhD students, everything. I mean, starting
Yeah.
is from a very scratch. So I thought, okay, so I mean, what I will do going for a postdoc, like publish 2-3 more papers, nothing else, right? So then this is a very good opportunity. So I should definitely join here. And then 2-3 years down the line, if I feel that okay, I need some more exposure, I need some postdoc, then I can tell them that I
Yeah.
can take a like 1.5 to 2 years of leave, and then I can come and rejoin. Then this is my
Yeah.
whole plan, and this is how it all started.
Yeah.
This was also very
Yeah, it is.
unexpected.
It has been a lot of surprises, but then it's amazing that how you've tackled them and built them to go in your favor. So that's really
Yeah,
nice. And
yeah.
then I think
And also the
all
interview
of
was
us
also
like
very
even.
difficult over
Huh,
here. I thought
yeah.
of like, oh, I don't know what will happen, but somehow I mean everything fell into places actually.
Yeah. So I think that's really important. It's a very unique thing to do. It's like so always some doing something unique comes with a lot of risks and everything. So you really have to be brave enough to do that, and that's really great that you guys have started this venture, and
Yeah.
that's really awesome. And so now that you have that, we kind of know your secret behind the the timely completion of your PhD and then immediately going into something great like this. So now that you have been through this entire journey, would you recommend somebody to do a PhD? And what will be your definition for a PhD if you do so?
So yeah, as your name suggests, a philosophical drama. I mean that. I mean that. Yeah, I think that explains everything. No, see, I mean, so if see, I am no point of giving any advice to anyone. So everybody has their own journey. Everybody has
Right.
see, Sukarna, everybody comes from different background. Everybody has a different thinking towards his or her life. Everybody wants to do something or achieve something else. But still, if you tell me that what I can suggest is, I can always suggest. See, whatever whatever you do, if you don't let, I mean, if you forget your enjoyment, if you always forget what makes you happy, and how you can make yourself happy in your life, there is no point of doing anything. See, a PhD eventually PhD will happen. I mean, and I have seen the people who take more stress finish PhD later. So you have to be happy. You have to be as less stressful as possible. I know. I mean, always. I mean, you cannot tell this to anyone that you don't take stress. And PhD is stressful. I mean, every day, every minute, every second,
Yes.
you be in stress. But still, I mean, you always enjoy whatever makes you happy. I mean, you travel with friends, you sing, you dance, you cook. I mean, whatever makes you happy, you do, and eventually, I mean, your PhD will happen. Actually, see, every day if you come to lab at 10 and if you leave at 7 or 8, that is a good enough time. I think that
Yeah.
multiplies into 365 into 5. That is a huge time. That is what I feel. I mean, fine. I mean, there's some PhD which requires a lot of effort. That's fine. I mean, but still, I mean, whatever uh, time it requires, I think, uh, if you focus on every day, if you do your work properly, if you do your work like with absolute love and passion, I think you can get a very good PhD at very like proper time.
Right. Yeah, that's really great. That's like a very very important message to
Hmm.
all the
But you
people
have to
who are
like enjoy. I mean,
doing.
whatever makes you happy,
Yeah.
you do. Whatever makes you happy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we tend to forget this very often because we get
Right.
very stressed out with work and everything, and then we start ignoring everything, starting from our health to our well-being, etc. And then we end up like probably that's what even extends it even more. It
Right.
just gets into a loop.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, yeah. This was really nice. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming today and giving us your very different and unique uh, way of looking at PhD and sharing your story with us.
Also,
So thank you very
thank
much.
you very much, Sukuna, also to you also for inviting me. I'm really feeling happy. Uh, I mean,
Yeah,
to
great, great. It
to
was a
share my,
really nice chat after a long time,
yeah,
and hope we meet very soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What if I stumble? I will become more resilient. What if I break? I will rebuild myself. What if I fail? I will have another story to tell. I will have someone to inspire, and I'll have someone to lead. That is the essence that we are trying to capture through our show, PhD the Philosophical Drama. Thank you all for showing so much of love and joining today. And please do share our page. Please get more followers so that we get a bigger viewer base for our show. And we are also uploading these videos on YouTube, so please do check them out if you have missed our shows. And please keep sharing them. And thank you so much for joining today. And we'll have more such episodes coming up. And so very soon we are going to open a portal for your feedback and your suggestions. So please follow our stories from our profile to get more information on this. And please do share your feedback. It is going to help me and Amog take our show forward. Thank you very much for joining today. Take care, everyone. Stay happy, stay safe. Bye.